Hi everybody, welcome back to the Celtic Forever podcast. Xander here to go through everything Celtic. It's been a full week from we have been on last a week ago. Nothing much has really happened, but we'll go through everything that has happened and we'll do the preview of the Celtic versus Dundee United game at Tannadice on Sunday. All of your latest news, gossip, rumours, everything else in between. We'll go through the lot. Let's bring in John. How are you, John? Full week we've been on. No much has been happening, but how are you anyway, buddy?
It's been a long week, isn't it? Long week, nothing to watch. Champions League games, that's about it. 7-2 to Barcelona. Nice wee game to watch that one.
Yeah, we said that in the last podcast. It was on these English teams, 6 of them in the Champions League knockout stage, and they're getting knocked out one by one. I think there's only 2 left now, actually, in the Champions League, Liverpool and Arsenal. But no, as regards to Celtic, John, nothing really been happening. But obviously, we'll start with the news. And the big one that's came out, John, I mean, the way this came out about Kasper Schmeichel's last game for Celtic, if you like, because I don't think he's going to kick another ball for Celtic, John. But the way it came out, he's talking to his father on an American sports channel, and the word Celtic wasn't mentioned, John, through that full conversation. The word Celtic was not mentioned. Martin O'Neill wasn't told about it. He's telling everybody he's had this injury for over a year as well, John. But Kasper Schmeichel, we'll obviously wish him all the best. But, you know, he's been playing with Celtic through this injury, John. What do you make of that?
Kind of suspected that anyway. I knew he had an injury. We were talking about it, but he was making attempts to make saves. I know he had a shoulder problem. I can't remember the goal. Who was it that scored the goal? It just looked over him. Remember that one? He went with his weaker hand, when if he put his stronger hand up, he was getting it easy. Plucking apples, kind of.
Kilmarnock.
Was it Kilmarnock?
Yeah, Rugby Park, yeah. Dreadful goalkeeping.
Well, that one, he went with his weaker hand, obviously, when the simple thing to do was stick up your strong hand and he's catching it, which made absolutely no sense. And we says at the time, he's definitely injured if he's gone with that hand to save that. I mean, you could have just caught it with one hand. That's how slow it was going. And he tries to make a spectacular dive with the other hand. And look, I don't wish the guy any harm, but you should be letting your club know. I think the club already knew. I know he was getting injections for it. But you're no fit to play for a big team like Celtic. You shouldn't be anywhere near the squads under. That's... maybe the Celtic medical staff never knew how bad it was. I really don't know, but that's poor.
Well, Martin O'Neill yesterday in his interview saying that back in the day, if you had an injury and you knew you had the injury and you didn't declare it, you got fined. You got a hefty fine, John. So, you know, clearly Martin O'Neill's not happy with the whole situation as regards to Kasper Schmeichel. But, you know, I think that's his career finished at Celtic, John. Obviously, his contract ends in 3 or 4 months' time. That's how his contract is over. I can't see Celtic renewing his contract, can you?
Nah, we need a better keeper anyway. He's past it. I think when you get to that age, when you get injuries like that, it takes longer to heal. I don't think probably an injury that will probably be with him for the rest of his life. So I can't see him ever making a return for Celtic. We've got a better keeper there anyway. I just think Sinisalo's a far better keeper.
Yeah, of course. He's there. He's doing a brilliant job for us just now. It's just as well we've got Sinisalo to step in, John, or else we'd be really up the river without a paddle, to be honest with you. But that's it, John. That's the news on Kasper Schmeichel. Obviously, I'll put the video on with that interview. If you want to watch it, it'll be sitting below this video. Kasper Schmeichel interview where he was talking about the injury he's had for over a year, John. So, and so some people in the comments, John, saying, you know, you've got to remember he's put us out of a hole, he's put off some decent saves. And I think I did reply to a few of them. You know, every goalkeeper pulls off a decent save, John. But, you know, it's Celtic we're talking about here, the champions Celtic. We need our goalkeepers in top condition. And then you've got to look at the defence as well, John. You know, did the defenders know that he had this injury and they weren't confident enough in Kasper Schmeichel? You've got to take all this into account as well.
Aye, well, we spoke about that he wasn't getting much help from the defence. So, in Kasper's defence, you've got to say the defenders never helped him that much. But look, his distribution was poor as well. he was kicking it straight to opposition players and they were getting goals from it and all that. So look, I'm glad that Sinisalu's your number one keeper now. But the thing for Celtic is they'll need to find another keeper as soon as possible, because we've only got that boy we got for Aberdeen. What's his name again? Can't remember his name, but they'll need to get a third keeper in.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's going to be dealt with in the summer, I think, John. I think we're going to get we definitely need another goalkeeper, that goes without saying. But Ross Doohan was the Aberdeen boy, wasn't it, John? So he's there to step in as number 2 anyway. But Casper, he's finished at Celtic, John. We wish him all the best of luck, of course, John. But, you know, the way that news came out, I thought was pretty pathetic. You know, talking to his dad on an American TV channel about all these injuries in his shoulder and arm when he's playing massive games for Celtic, John, when he should have been sidelined. Anyway, John, we need to move on from it. We'll see what happens in the goalkeeper, with the goalkeeper situation in the summer, John, who we're going to sign, etc. Celtic monitoring Braga, John, Hearts player Braga. You know, this was always going to happen. Motherwell and Hearts doing decent in the Premier League just now. Celtic and Rangers are obviously going to have a look at these players that are performing well in the SPL just now, John, but Celtic are monitoring Hearts midfielder stroke winger Braga. John, what do you think of that?
I like him. I think he's a decent player, Braga. I think he's their standout player. I think without him, I don't think that they'd be where they are, to be honest with you. I know they've got a few decent players, but I think he's their best player. I mean, Lauren Shankland's their main striker, but if you ask me, Braga's a better striker than Lauren Shankland.
Yeah, well, he's due back actually, Shankland, isn't he, for Hearts? In fact, he might even be returning today against Dundee, John, but we'll wait and see. But no, I think it'd be a decent signing, John. I really do. If we were to get Braga in the summer, it would give us that wee bit of extra quality, because let's face it, he's Hearts' best player.
He is their best player. They've got, I can't remember all their names, but they've got a lot of decent players, Hearts. Maybe 4, 5, 6 really good quality players there. I'm not going to say top quality, because there's no such thing in Scotland as top quality, but decent quality. I think Braga would certainly do a job for Celtic, Xander. I think he's better than any striker we've got there right now.
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting to see what happens, to be honest with you. It's this rebuild that Celtic's going to have in the summer. It's going to be very interesting, John. And we're going to have links to this player, links to that player, even links to certain managers, things like that as well, John. But it's going to be an interesting summer. No matter what happens between now and the end of the season, I think it'll be an interesting summer. Talking about managers there, John, Lee Glover, the recruitment boss, was pictured with Martin O'Neill at Lennox Town, John. So is there a chance, is there a possibility that Martin O'Neill could extend his stay for another year at Celtic, John, into next season? Do you think that's a possibility?
Oh, I don't know. When you says Lee Glover there, I thought you says League Lover. That's like he's talking about League Lover. League Lover, of course, aye.
Yeah. The League Lover was pictured with O'Neill, John, the recruitment boss. So, you know, why is he with Martin O'Neill? You know, people see these things, they put 2 and 2 together and get 6, don't they? But, you know, are they talking about recruitment for next season? Why would Martin O'Neill be involved in that? You've got to ask, if unless he's got the chance of being the manager next season.
Unless he's got the chance of being the new recruitment, the head of recruitment at Celtic. You know what I mean? I really don't know. But so there might be some role for Martin O'Neill. Head of recruitment, that sounds more like a role for Martin O'Neill. Will he be manager next season? I don't think so. But if he manages to win Celtic the league and the cup double, there's every chance, Sander, I'll say that.
Yeah, of course. You know, I mean, the Celtic supporters everywhere would be, you know, wanting Martin O'Neill to stay on for at least another year, if that was to be the case. And even if we don't win the league, then the fans would still want Martin O'Neill to stay for another year, John. But again, it's a wait and see sort of situation, isn't it? We'll get to the big preview in a wee minute, folks. I promise you, Dundee United at Tannadice on Sunday. We'll get to that in a wee minute. Competition, correct score for that game. Get your guess in for the correct score competition. League table on your left-hand side. One guess each into the comments. Good luck, everybody, with that. Hit that like button if you don't mind. That would be appreciated. And subscribe as well, just to help out the Celtic Forever channel. Okay, one more wee bit of news, John. And it's from McGregor, John. He does return this weekend. 2 games he missed out, John. We put Rangers out the cup in one of those games. And we beat Motherwell convincingly at Celtic Park without Callum McGregor as well. But our captain does return. Liam Scales did a fantastic job in his absence. It's just good to get one or two of the players back, John. I think Engels is another one set to return.
It's always good to get players back. We've had injuries, long-term injuries, all throughout this season. It's been bad, really bad. This is the worst season I remember for injuries for Celtic. But getting Callum McGregor back and Arne Engels, I don't rate Arne Engels, as you know, but you do notice it when he's not there.
Aye, yeah, of course you do. The first couple of games he was out, and just first 2 or 3 we really did struggle, didn't we? Although we did sneak over the line in the games, 1-0 here, last minute goals there, last second goal, sorry. A win is a win, I suppose. But John, Alistair Johnston as well, he's another one he's almost there as well. He just needs a couple of bounce games, Martin O'Neill says, and he will be in the first team for selection as well. So within the next week or two, John, we'll have 3 or 4 of our top players returning, including Callum Osmond as well. But I think this international break coming up, John, coming up very soon. I think that's coming at a good time. It just, by the time we return from that international break, I think we'll have most, not all, of course, but most of our players back.
Aye, the exception being Carter Vickers and what's his name? Who's the other one? Jota?
Yeah, Carter Vickers, Jota, yeah.
I think they two, they'll be out to the World Cup anyway. I don't think any of them will make it for the World Cup, to be honest with you. That Jota wouldn't get into the Portuguese team anyway. But, I'm just talking about in regards to a timeline.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them will be ready for that time. Next season, we'll see Jota and Carter Vickers back, which is good because we've really missed Carter Vickers, let's be honest. Jota, not so much. I don't think he was in great form when he got injured. I don't think he was really impacting the team that much anyway. But Carter Vickers, huge loss the whole season's under. That was a big one. We've really missed him, and it's no surprise that him being missing, we've conceded so many goals.
Yeah, of course. And having a dodgy keeper doesn't help. So we're right, okay. That's about it in regards to the news then, John. It's just good to get some players returning, especially in the running at the end of the season. The last 7 or 8 games, John, we've got players returning. It's absolutely fantastic. The weather's changing. Celtic are getting decent wins over the line, putting rivals out the cup, beating the on-form team 3-1 last weekend. Things are looking up, and we just hope that continues going into Tannadice on Sunday. Just for him that's interested, to Stuttgart, John, the team that put us out of the Europa League a couple of weeks ago, Stuttgart, they got put out by Porto in the Europa League with a bit of a mauling against Porto, John, 5-1 in aggregate for Stuttgart, just for anybody that's interested in that one. Right, John, a wee thing, I wanted to have a wee quick word on, 10 minutes, shall we say, on the players that have recently left Celtic. Your players that have left Celtic like last season, maybe the season before, John, they saw the stars in the sky, if you like, and they've went to other clubs. So I just wanted to have a wee word on what these players are actually doing just now. Let's have a wee quick look through some of them. We'll start with Marco Tilio, Rapid Vienna. 0 starts, John. He hasn't kicked a ball for Rapid Vienna. I don't know what the reason is for that. Shun Yamada, since he's left Celtic, he's had 1 start. But anytime you want, John, if you want to have any say on any of these. Johnny Kenny went to Bolton, obviously on loan. Johnny Kenny, he's had 11 starts and 5 goals, John. So a decent start for Johnny Kenny at Bolton.
Aye, good for him. It's a pity he never done it at Celtic.
Yeah, but he is going to return to Celtic, John, so we hope that he returns a more clinical striker, shall we say. Kwon, John, he did go to Nantes. I thought he was still at Hibs, but he obviously went to Nantes. 0 starts for Quan, John. So not the best of starts for Quan either. John, moving on. Adam Meada went to Swansea. 15 starts, 10 goals. Quite decent for the big man.
Decent. How could they not do that at Celtic?
Yeah, that's it, John. These players, maybe the pressure is off when they leave Celtic, you know. Who knows, but the reason is for it. But he's doing okay for Swansea as well. Big Adam Meada. Nicholas Kuhn, John, there's rumours that he could be coming back to Celtic. I don't know what you think about that. I'll get your thoughts in a wee second. But Nicholas Kuhn, 20 starts for Como, plenty of assists and 7 goals. So the wee man's still doing it at Como.
I don't know if I would have him back at Celtic. He was hot and cold. He wasn't consistent enough for me, Nicholas Kuhn. Good wee player Nicholas Kuhn was. There was absolutely no consistency with him. I think he had a wee spell where he was on fire and then he went back to his normal self again. I wouldn't have him back at Celtic. But good luck to the boy. I like the wee guy. He was a nice enough wee guy.
Yeah, there is rumours he's coming back, John. So we'll wait to see what happens in the summer. But we don't have to be talking about rumours at this stage. Haskabanovic, John. Haskabanovic went to Malmo, didn't he? 3 appearances, 0 goals for Haskabanovic. And you can understand why Celtic get road shot of these players. Daniel Kelly, young man Daniel Kelly, John, left Celtic start of the season, went to Millwall, 8 appearances and 0 goals for Daniel Kelly, so not great for the wee man. Went to Genk, of course he scored that goal against the Rangers at Ibrox, which was fantastic. But 18 appearances, 4 goals for what do you think of that, John?
I never rated him either, never rated him at all. But the best thing he ever done was score the goal against them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah. From a Celtic fan's point of view, I mean, but he was never a great player at Celtic, was he? Some people say he wasn't given a chance. I say, thank goodness.
Yeah, well, he's doing okay over there at Genk, I suppose. So goals, assists and appearances are plenty for the South Korean, John. Okay, Boston Lawwell went to Stoke City, 12 appearances for Boston Lawwell. It's not too bad, I suppose. Ben Doak, Liverpool, John, went to Liverpool, 5 appearances, 0 goals for Liverpool. I think he's on loan somewhere now. I don't know how he's doing on loan, but at Liverpool, John, he's sort of a failed. He's been sent out on loan for wee Ben Doak, who's doing okay with Scotland, I suppose. And finally, Rocco Vata, John, who left to go to Watford. 12 appearances and 1 goal. So no shining stars there at all, is there really, John? Apart from perhaps Greg Taylor, perhaps Nicholas Kuhn, John, and Adam Meada.
The only one I would have back is Greg Taylor. I know a lot of Celtic fans never liked Greg Taylor, but obviously they missed the work that he did in the final third, like I says. But out of all them, the only one I would have back is Greg Taylor. I wouldn't have Ben Doak back. He couldn't wait to get away from Celtic. That type of player I don't want back.
Yeah,
I think he's, like he says, I think he's half decent for Scotland, but I wouldn't have him anywhere near Celtic. Couldn't wait to get out the door. So, nah, wouldn't have him anywhere near Celtic. I don't like players like that, you know, Celtic fans, but they can't wait to get away from Celtic. You're not a Celtic fan if that's your attitude.
Yeah, it was quite poor the way that boy left, actually, John. I know he's looking after his own interest, and obviously his agent is in his ear, you know, giving him advice, things like that. But anyway, he's away from Celtic now, John, and that's what he's done so far. I don't know who it is. He's on loan to somebody. I didn't check. I just wanted to see what he'd done at Liverpool, and his stats weren't great. Right, John, let's do the predictor before we get into the big preview of the Dundee United game. We'll do this weekend's predictor, full weekend predictor coming up. You got 2 right last week, John. I got 1 right, so the score is now 28-21. You're now 7 ahead, John. 28, take a wee note of that. 28-21 to you in the predictor. Gives us a wee chance to go through the weekend's fixtures as well, John. Let's start with that. Falkirk against St Mirren.
It's got to be a Falkirk win, isn't it? I'll go for... Well, it's not got to be a Falkirk win. You know what I mean? I think Falkirk are a very decent team, especially in their home patch with the dodgy artificial surface. I'll go for a 3-1 to Falkirk.
Yeah, I was so disappointed in St Mirren getting rid of the manager just in time to play Rangers, John. And I'm going to go 2-0 to Falkirk in this one. Okay, moving on. Hearts against Dundee, John. Obviously brings back memories back to the early 80s or the mid 80s when we had to score 5 goals against St Mirren and Hearts had to get beat by Dundee, and that's exactly what happened. So, Hearts against Dundee, John, on Saturday.
I watched the game last week with Dundee against Dundee United. 2 each in the Dundee derby. Dundee had to come back from 2-0 down, scored the last kick of the ball equaliser. That's got to have gave them a lift. I thought Dundee were poor. I thought the whole game was poor, to be honest with you. Just reminded me of that primary 5 style of game again, you know. Infant style, everybody chasing the ball. It was just a horrible game to watch. But look, Dundee dragged themselves back for 2-0 down in a derby match. That'll give them a wee lift. I wouldn't be surprised if they went to Tynecastle and got a draw today. I'm going to say 1 each.
1 each for John. I'll say 3-1 to Hearts. Obviously, by the time people listen to this, the games have already started. They're probably finished, in fact. But we're doing this predictor just before the games kick off. All right, John, moving on. Kilmarnock against Livingston. Bottom of the league clash there.
Who cares clash?
Aye, basically.
Kilmarnock against Livingston. Is it Kilmarnock's ground, eh?
That is, John, yeah. Plastic pitch again.
Well, both of them are used to playing on the plastic pitch, aren't they?
Yeah.
Both have plastic surfaces, so there's no advantage for any team the other day. I think McCann and Dodds will get a tune out of them a day. I'm going to say 2-0 to Kilmarnock.
The dream team, yeah. 2-1 to Kilmarnock in that one, John. You'll say 2-0. Okay, moving on from the dream team. Motherwell against Hibs.
BBC team.
Aye, BBC dream team.
BBC, aye. I mean, half their bench they're either at Rangers or Kilmarnock, aren't they?
Aye.
And then they get back to BBC when they get sacked. What an absolute joke. Kid on there impartial.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was that? Hibs against who?
Motherwell v Hibs on Saturday.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Was that a hurry up horn there?
That was your time running out.
It's a tricky one though, isn't it? It's I've got Motherwell's lost their last 2 games, including one against us. They lost against Dundee. I don't think they'll go 3 games unbeaten. I'm going to go for a Motherwell winning this one, 2-0 to Motherwell.
2-0 for you. I'll say 3-1 to Motherwell at home in this one. We'll wait to see what happens on Saturday. Rangers against Aberdeen also on Saturday, John. At Ibrox.
Saturday, it's only about half an hour to kick off or something.
Yeah, that's it, John. Is there's a 3 o'clock kick-off, is it? Yeah. What do you think anyway?
Rangers against Aberdeen.
Yeah.
New manager. I think they got a draw last week, Aberdeen, am I right?
Yeah, that's yeah. They drew with I can't remember who, but they did get a draw. They drew their game, John. So I'm sure they were winning at one point, and they lost the last minute equaliser. So
I can't remember.
It's a draw nevertheless for them.
Aye, it was a draw last week with a new manager. No, a draw's a good result for Aberdeen right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe they get a wee lift. Maybe the new manager bounce will give them a slight bit of hope there. I'm not really sure. It's a tricky one. Rangers have bumped him the last twice they've played them. 3-0 at Ibrox, 3-0 at Pittodrie. Oh, it's a tough one to call because it's Aberdeen with a new manager. I'm going to go for a Rangers win in this one. I think they'll maybe edge it 2-0.
It's tough to predict because they've got that new manager, as you say, John. Won each last week against Falkirk. It was with Aberdeen, John. So that's a decent point, actually. But it was at Pittodrie, of course. So I'll say 2-1 to Rangers.
I think
yeah,
Rangers
2-1. I'll go 2-1. And you're saying 2-0, John? Yeah. Okay.
I'll say 2-0. I think Rangers will win that one. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Aberdeen managed to squeeze a point out. We'll find out at 5 o'clock. But I think the game of the day for me is Motherwell v Hibs. Even although my interest is firmly on Hearts at Tynecastle. Rangers, obviously, they win the day, they'll go above us in the league, us with a game in hand. So it puts us under pressure for this Dundee United game.
It certainly does, John. If they both get a result today, then it puts a lot of pressure on us. But if they drop points, of course, and also you've got to bear in mind, if Hearts do get beat and Celtic win on the Sunday, Celtic go top of the league, no matter what happens at Ibrox.
Aye, well, this is it, isn't it? So, look, I think the game of the day, if I'm picking a proper game to watch, game of the day, it's definitely Motherwell against Hibs. Rangers against Aberdeen, I don't think I'll be watching that. Hearts at Tynecastle, there's every chance Dundee could pull off a draw there, Xander. I'm quite confident Dundee can pull a draw off the other day. Decent team, very decent team.
And by the way, the Rangers and Aberdeen game is a 5:45 kick-off, so it's after the 3 o'clock kick-offs. It's a later one at Ibrox on Saturday. Right, John, Ayr against Morton, Brunei watch?
We never did Brunei watch last week. I'll go for an Ayr United one. 3-1 Ayr United.
2-0 to Ayr and me. For me, sorry, in that one. Ross County against Neil Lennon, Old Firm, Neil Lennon, Dunfermline. Ross County at home.
Tough one, isn't it? It's always a hard place to go away up in Dingwall, although I think they're bottom of the league, Ross County. I'm going to go for an Old Firm, Neil Lennon win, 1-0.
Okay. 1 each for me in that one. And Celtic B against Bonnyrigg.
The idea. 2 each.
2-2. I will say 2-0 to Celtic B. John's going for a Desmond. 2-2. And finally, last one in this weekend's predictor. Partick Thistle, girls, ladies, women, females against Celtic, girls, ladies, women, females. John?
I'll go for a Celtic, ladies, women, females, girls to win 4-0 against Partick Thistle, females, ladies, girls, women. Walloper of the year, eh? Right, John. People must be, see anybody that's never listened to this before, if you're wondering, I mean, they have to keep explaining this. We need to stop saying that every time there's a women, females, ladies, girls game on. But the reason we're saying it is because somebody says one day, we used to say Celtic ladies against maybe Glasgow City ladies or whatever. And somebody in the comments says, stop calling it ladies, there's no such thing as ladies anymore. So that's why we keep saying Celtic ladies, females, women's, girls, because of some absolute banger says there's no such thing as ladies. So I think we'll just stop saying that from now on and just say Celtic ladies. I couldn't give a toss what anybody thinks. If you think there's no such thing as ladies, you're a weird individual. But for me, it's Celtic ladies. Always has been, always will be.
Yeah, and I'll go for 4-0 to the Celtic ladies. Sorry, John, what did you say?
I says 4-0 as well. So you can say the same result if you want. There's not no losses. You can't say the same result.
Yeah, we'll keep it the same. All right, John. All right, that's the predictor. Done and dusted for the weekend. Good luck to every team apart from Hearts and Rangers, obviously. So good luck, everybody, playing on this Saturday, this beautiful Saturday afternoon. And let's get into Sunday then, John. The big preview to Dundee United versus Celtic at Tannadice Park. Obviously, the big hurrah has been about the condition of the Tannadice surface. I don't think it's going to be any better, but we have had 3 or 4 days of sunshine, John, but doesn't really matter, does it? We need to play on whatever surface it is up there.
It's a transplant that place needs. And pitch is all baldy. It's unplayable. What they should have done is move the fixture to Dens Park or something like that. I know that's a selfish point of view. But if Dundee can keep their pitch in great condition, it's only about 100 feet away from Tannadice. How can Dundee United not have their pitch in the same condition as Dundee?
Yeah, unless they've been getting a Celtic situation, John, where Dundee may be similar, where they don't play many games on their home surface, John, like Celtic. Celtic have hardly played at Celtic Park in the last couple of months through the winter, whereas Tannadice maybe gets played out on all the time, like Ibrox gets played at home all the time, John. So maybe something like that. I'm not too sure, but the surface should be better looked after, I think.
It's a total catastrophe, that surface. I've watched Dundee United a few times on it, and it's just a throwback to the 1980s. Just brown patches everywhere. It looks solid. It looks like there's no buoyancy in the park or anything. It just looks like they're playing on hard mud. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, so it's one that obviously both teams need to play on, but Dundee United do have that advantage because they play on that park every other week, John, every second week or whatever. They play at home, so they've got the advantage of playing on that surface. Celtic are having to go there. A football playing team like Celtic having to play it on a totty field, I feel like. 12:30 kick-off on Sunday. Obviously, by the time we kick off, John, we could be sitting third in the league table behind Rangers and Hearts. Obviously, if Rangers get their win against Aberdeen, if Hearts get their win against Dundee, we're playing catch-up. That's the big worry, isn't it, John? But 3 points, an absolute must for Celtic, no matter what happens at Ibrox and Tynecastle. It just so happens that both the teams are playing at home as well, John. Hearts and Rangers both at home, Celtic away from home. But of course, this is what champions are made of, John. This is where you have to go away from home and get the 3 points.
Oh, well, this is it. You need to step up to the mark, put in a big performance. Every player's got to put in a big performance. Because I think Hearts possibly draw the day, and I think Rangers will win the day. So, come 12:30, Celtic know exactly what they've got to do. They know they've got to be right up for this game, like a cup final. I know it's a dodgy surface that goes against Celtic. I think that surface isn't fit for purpose. I'd rather Celtic were playing on a plastic pitch than that absolute jokey surface at Tannadice. No forgetting the last time we went to Tannadice, we get turned over there. Of course, Nancy was in charge. That doesn't really count. But this surface is a worry for me, Xander. I know the players know exactly what they've got to do, but this surface is a big worry.
Yeah, and I think the good weather we've had isn't going to make a bit of difference to that surface, to be honest with you, John. Let's just hope that they've, I don't know, what can they do? Put some rubber crumb down or something in the sort of a hard patches, I don't know what they can do. But it's just that's a game we need to play it, John. I mean, it's just need to wait and see what happens. Dundee United, obviously, sitting 7th in the league table, John. They're sitting 7th there. Just one place off the top 6. So they're not too bad a team, John. And they are good on their day, Dundee United. They can turn any team over on their day. But of course, they've got that inconsistency, Dundee United. So we're just hoping that they turn up at Tannadice, and I've got one of the off days. Referee for this one is Nick Walsh, man in the middle. 2 men on the lines are McIntyre and McGeechee on the lines, with David Dickinson and Andrew Dallas on the VAR, John. Any thoughts there?
Aye, Dickinson and Dallas on the VAR. I've got a lot of thoughts about that, but I'll keep it to myself.
Oh, double D.
the double D meisters. That's a big concern for me. Two absolute wrongings, Xander. So don't be surprised if the next podcast we're talking about controversy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, John, it's one we need to keep an eye on. We need to play through this every single game now. Some very, very strange decisions against Celtic all through the season, John. 41 Dundee United to win the game, 11-4 the draw, and 1-2 Celtic to come out of there with all 3 points. Quick word on Dundee United, by the way. These players that are out or suspended or whatever, John, it's all subject to change, because I'm sick and tired of mentioning players that are out. Now, this is the clubs that are saying these players are out, John, and then the day of the game comes and suddenly they're okay, that they're on the field playing the actual game of football, John. Rangers did it 2 weeks ago with Stirling. He was supposed to be out, then he turned up, he was fine. And then last week at Motherwell, the boy up front, I can't remember the boy's name, the boy Celtic is interested in.
Ballot. No, Ballot. Man,
that's him, John. He was supposed to be out injured as well. So all of a sudden, he's run about like a headless chicken against Celtic. So these players I'm about to mention are all subject to change. Trapanovsky, he's out as it stands. Sibbald, he's out as it stands. Papaway is out as it stands. And Esselink is out as it stands, but subject to change, of course, because I need to say that now every time I mention these players that are out, John. And returning for Dundee United, they have Strain returning and Nemo returning as well, John. So 2 players returning and 4 out for them. Let's get into Celtic then, John. We do what we always do. We start with the goalkeeper, defence, midfield, then the forward. We'll go through the full starting lineup. We'll start with the goalkeeper. I suppose it goes without saying now, John, who is your number one?
The only one that's left, apart from Duhan. I don't think he's going to start, so it's going to be Sinisalo, of course.
Yeah, Sinisalo and goal, John. A lot of people commenting, he's done a great job for his Kasper Schmeichel, and he has done a brilliant job for his last season. He done a brilliant job for his, John, but he's had this injury for a year now. He should have declared it, John. He shouldn't have been trying to play through pain barriers, etc., taking injections and everything else. He should have confirmed to the manager that he wasn't fit to play, and he didn't. He said he was okay to play. You can only take the player at his word, John. That's the way you've got to look at it. But forget about it now, John. It's Sinisalo and goals from now to the end of the season, with Duhan as our number 2 in reserve there, John. So good luck to Sinisalo and goal, John. He's a very, very decent goalkeeper, isn't he?
I like him. I've said that even before we knew about Kasper Schmeichel's injury, I like to look at Sinisalo. I was watching him in the pre-seasons and all that, and his confidence and his, he never looked rushed or phased or anything like that. So I've been calling out for him for a long time, Xander. I like him. I think he's a better keeper than Schmeichel.
Yeah, you look at the performance you put in at Ibrox, John. Absolutely brilliant. The way he was coming out of the box as well, and heading the ball in mid-air and catch it, coming for cross balls. That was the last time we had a goalkeeper that comes for the cross ball. And he's not scared to get hurt, John. He's just landing awkwardly on his back, things like that. And, very brave goalkeeper. So it's just great to see Sinisalo finally getting his chance. We'll wait and see what happens in the summer as regards to any other goalkeeper coming in. Defence, John, obviously, Araujo is still an issue with Araujo. Don't know what the issue is, to be honest with you. We'll wait and see if he turns up on Tannadice on Sunday. But it looks as though he could be missing. Looks as though Donovan could be starting in there. Maybe Ralston, who knows. But then the big dilemma, John, is obviously the centre half. We've got Benjamin Arthur, who's playing a brilliant game of football just now for Celtic, John. You've got to remember he was up against Rangers and Motherwell, the foreign team. He puts an absolute brilliant performance in both games. So we do have Big Trusted returning, of course, from his 3-match suspension. He's available. Big skills, he's solid as a rock, especially as the captain, done a brilliant job. And then Sirachi's still out, I think. There's a bit injury prone Sirachi, isn't he? But we do still have Kieran Tierney. So who's your back four, John?
Kieran Tierney.
Kieran Tierney, yeah. Would that say Kieran Tierney? Same thing.
It's just Kieran Tierney. He'll play with Kieran Tierney. Anyway, KT, he'll play with Scales. It's a tricky one with Trusty. I think Trusty will start. I think Trusty's last game he played against the Rangers, he was outstanding. He was out of this world. If he can put in performances like that against every team, you wouldn't want Carter Vickers back. He was outstanding against the Rangers. Andy tucked his penalty away beautifully.
Yeah.
But it's Trusty we're talking about. He's got that mistake in him playing on a dodgy surface. I don't know. I cringe thinking about it. The ball just bouncing over him on that mud park. Then again, he might show up, put in a great performance. I think he's going to start anyway. I don't think it will be Arthur. I think Martin's going to go with the experienced guy there. So it's going to be, for me, Trusty and Scales in there.
Yeah, and right back.
Right back, I'm not sure. I've not heard anything about Araho. So I think it'll be Donovan.
Yeah, totally agree, John. Donovan for me. Although Trusty, I think Trusty will start with Scales and Tierney. But you know, just Martin O'Neill, he's chopping and changing just now. Last week he played Scalesy at left back, didn't he? So we'll wait and see what happens. But I think we're back to normal as possible I can with Big Trusty and Scalesy in the centre half positions, John, which is very unfair on Benjamin Arthur because he's just gets starting the Celtic career off really, and he's not put a foot wrong, the boy. So we'll wait and see what happens on Saturday afternoon. Midfield, obviously Callum returns, chance for Engels to return. We still have Ox-Chamberlain available, who done a decent job in Callum McGregor's absence, John. We obviously still have Rio and Nigan, or Nugan, whatever you want to call him, John. But with your midfield three, you've got 6 to pick from there.
He calls him, that's the guy on BBC calls him that, Nugaru.
Yeah.
Nugarin or Nugaru, that was his other one.
Yeah.
And Aruku. I think this guy just likes the oo. You know what I mean? It's
Aruku for Araho.
Aye, Aruku for Araho and Nugaru for Nigrin.
Yeah, I forget his name is actually Nigrin, didn't you? Or you can call him Nigrin, I suppose. Some people call him that. But what do you think, John? Middle three. Where are you going this weekend?
I think that if Andy Engels is available, he's going to start. Although he has been out for quite a while, so he might not start. He might come on as a sub.
Yeah.
So I'll go for Hatate, McGregor, and I'll go for Chamberlain. I think Chamberlain might make a start. I thought he was decent against Motherwell.
Yeah, I think you could be right there, John. Just to be different, I'll go with Nigrin instead of Oxlade-Chamberlain. So it'll be McGregor, Nigrin and Hatate in the middle three for me. And up front, John, forward three, obviously. Dilemmas all over the park just now, isn't there? But Yang, last week, John, against Motherwell, what a performance that boy put in against Motherwell. If I could do that every single week, John, we'd be wanting this boy starting every single minute of every single game. But the problem with Yang, he is very inconsistent, John. But, you know, he can only do what he's going to do in his last game, John. If he does that in the next game, then he's guaranteed to start every game.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, he seems to keep his best performances for Celtic Park. Maybe it's the nice surface at Celtic Park. You know, there's not a blemish on it.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings out good footballing players, I think. And I think that helps Yang when he's at Celtic Park. Scored a lovely goal against Rangers as well there, didn't he? But unfortunately we get beat with that Muppet in charge of Celtic at the time. But look, Nigrin, I think, Yang will start this one. I think Martin O'Neill likes him. I think he's getting more at him than any other manager go to him. So I'm going to go for Yang on the right hand side, Sander, with Maeda on the left and Finchara through the middle.
Yeah, it's got to be then. I think the big man, Big Finchara, his last couple of games he's done a wee bit better. I think, John, he's still not the answer, is he? So we've got a sort of a striker crisis at Celtic just now. But the big man's came in the last 2 games, John. Obviously he scored last week, but it was a penalty goal, obviously, but he still scored. So that may boost his confidence a wee bit. He seems to be holding the ball up a wee bit better, I would say. Obviously, Motherwell not as physical as some of the teams that are in the SPL. so he's doing a wee bit better the last couple of games, John. Just hope that continues. It'll be Convenchara for me as well, Dyson on the left, and Yank on the right. But of course, Martin does like to sometimes play Dyson Maeda through the middle, John, of course. So we'll wait and see what happens.
I was just thinking that these pitches might be dictating how players play as well, Xander. Sometimes Scottish pitches, they're not the best. Plastic pitches and spud fields, it's not what players sign up for.
No, and to be fair, the pitches in Scotland have been okay over the last few years, John. Obviously, that winter we had there was for months, it didn't stop raining, for months. But it's down to the groundsman there at Tannadice to get that sorted, John. There should be decent drainage at these stadiums, to be honest with you. And as you say, it isn't fit for purpose, is it? That Tannadice pitch, John, it really isn't. I'll quickly run through what I think the Dundee United start lineup is going to be. Apologies for pronunciations beforehand, but here we go anyway. Brewer in goal, Lovu, Graham, Carestes, is it, John? Carestes, yeah, defender Carestes. Stevenson, Savage, Aguiye, Ferry, Ferrugia, Ahmed, and Waters up front. That's my starting 11 for Dundee United, John. As long as we don't put in a performance like we did the last time we were at Tannadice, John, I think we'll be okay.
I will wait and see. It's the pitch that's worrying me. Ferry, we've got to keep an eye on Ferry. He puts in a wicked cross into the box, Xander. I like him.
Yeah.
He gets back as well, but he's crossing into the box is absolute class. He does really whip in a good cross. I think he's a fullback. A bit like Kieran Tierney. Plays on the left-hand side. And his crossing ability is really good. So he'll need to be very carefully watched. Because the crosses that he puts into the box are normally pinpoint accuracy. So for me, I watched Dundee United a lot. I like them. And for me, he's their danger man. So he's the one that Celtic's got to keep an eye on.
Yeah. I mean, Dundee, the last time we went to Tannadice, John, I'll never forget, I know as you said it was under Wilfred Nancy. It was a dreadful performance, John. The whole game, we just did not turn up. It was, I know the first half we were okay and we got a goal in the first half, but you just sort of knew that the team that was going to come out the second half when Nancy was in charge were a one-half team. We're still sort of a one-half team, John, but we're not anywhere near as bad as what we were under Nancy. And I said last week, John, as well, the 4 games prior to the Motherwell game, we did really well. Stuttgart, Rangers, other games. Start of a wee run for Celtic. Then we got that Motherwell win as well. We just need to take this decent run, John, into Tannadice on Sunday.
Well, winning breeds confidence, doesn't it? That's why you're starting to see a wee bit of confidence in the Celtic players, because they're starting to finally put some string of decent results together. The last bad one being Hibs. Of course, the sending off for Trusty. That cost us that, didn't it? But apart from that, we've been no bad. Still like to see more at the players. There's too many long balls for me right now. Far too many. They're not playing the way Celtic are used to playing under Ange Postecoglou and Brendan Rodgers. Ange Postecoglou would be absolutely raging watching Celtic right now with the amount of long balls, wouldn't he?
Yeah, of course. It's a big Ange. There's been like to him as well, by the way, Ange Postecoglou coming back to Celtic. But yeah, it's one of these seasons, John. This has been a pretty bad season. It's been from start to finish absolutely dreadful. I mean, the injury list, shocking, and everything else happening between 4 different. I know Martin O'Neill twice, right, but it's still 4 different managers in one season. Unheard of category here, John. We've not heard of this ever happening at Celtic. But yet, if Hearts get beat today and we win on Sunday, we're top of the league. It's unbelievable.
It is. I mean, look, the games kick off in 8 minutes' time as we speak.
Yeah.
It was going to be a nervy day because we just don't know what's going to be happening with these other 2 teams. One above us, one below us. Both of them could be above us by 5 o'clock. Well, Rangers start quarter-to-6, you says.
Yeah.
But by 8 o'clock then, both teams could be above us. Celtic playing catch-up. I think that's been Celtic's problem this season. They're no used to playing catch-up either, Xander. So, I don't know. It's hard to call what's going to, but by come Monday morning, we don't know where Celtic's going to be. They could be top of the league. They could be top. Even if Rangers win the day and Hearts get beat, and Celtic win the Mora, we could be top.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of football to be played between now and Monday morning. But it's an interesting weekend, isn't it? The last time we want to be doing is going into our next game after Dundee United 5 points behind Hearts. That's what we want to avoid. Or behind Rangers, for that matter.
Yeah, because you know what happens when they jump into second, John? It's like a bonfire night in Glasgow when they jump into second place. It's happened 3 or 4 times this season. Bonfire night is pathetic. Talking about Rangers, John, just a wee quick word before we get to the score predictor. Talking about them, John, the carry on at Ibrox 2 weeks ago has been well and truly brushed well under the carpet.
Well, I didn't expect any less. I mean, I really don't know what to say about that, actually. I've still watched a lot of the videos. I've watched it from both ends of the stadium. And Celtic fans, we've spoken about this, everybody spoke about it 100 times. Celtic fans celebrating. Look, fans should not be on a football park. I've said that as well. So any Rangers fans listening, you started it. We didn't start violence. Celtic fans did not start violence. The first incident of violence occurred when a Rangers fan ran on the park and attacked a Celtic staff member, one of the Celtic coaches. And then the next fan that came on came from the Rangers stand, the main stand, where the Celtic fans were celebrating. Somebody came from there to attack a Celtic fan, and he got drop kicked for his trouble. Celtic fan just booted him right to the ground. So look, Rangers fans are running on the park after that from the other side of the stadium, the Copeland Road end. They're all running down for there with their blueberry hats on, or whatever you want to call them, Spider-Man masks, gimp costumes, whatever you want to call them. I don't know, but apart from being the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, it's also amazing that they've escaped punishment with that, how their fans attacked Celtic fans celebrating. And that's what it was. We're not going to try and say it was Celtic fans are totally innocent here. They shouldn't be on the park in the first place celebrating, we know that. But they certainly weren't on there for violence. The only violence came from Rangers ends of the stadium. That's the only violence. Launching their flares into thousands of people, highly dangerous. Nothing will be done about that either. Seen all the bottles and all that in the past, and players up with coins and all that stuff, vapes and lighters and all sorts of stuff in the past. Nothing ever gets done about it. This will be no different, Sander. Absolutely no different.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you, John, 100% that every one of them in the Spider-Man masks will be Ibrox today watching Aberdeen. All right, John. Predictor time then. Big game, Dundee United Sunday. Predictor in the league table on your left-hand side there. What are you thinking, John? What's your guess for this one?
Well, had we been gone there playing on a nice pitch, I'd have fancied Celtic all day on a nice surface. I think Celtic's obviously got far better players than Dundee United, but that doesn't necessarily win you games. I think I really don't know because of that pitch, Sander. It's constantly in my mind, Celtic having to go there and play in that thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go more in hope than anything. I think Celtic can go there and win. Like I say, if it was a nice pitch, I'd be pretty confident in Celtic going there and winning. We beat Dundee United 4-1 the last time we played them comfortably at Celtic Park. I'll go for 2-1 to Celtic, Xander.
Yeah, very similar for me, John. 2-0 to Celtic, that clean sheet with the goalkeeper that isn't injured in between the sticks, and defence that seems to be gelling the longer the season goes on, John. So of 2-0 and 2-1, either way, 3 points, absolute must to take us into next weekend's fixture, John, because, as you say, we don't want to be going into the game next weekend 5 points behind Hearts and even points behind Rangers, John. We want to be above, if possible, we want to be above both of them. But, we still want to be in touching distance of Hearts come the end of the game on Sunday.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, Hearts might draw the day. I think they will draw the day. I certainly hope they will anyway. But you definitely don't want to be going into the next game chasing Hearts 5 points behind them. That's the last thing you want. And like the Celtic players know that. Mark O'Neill knows that. They know what they need to do. But is that pitch suitable for the way Celtic play? I don't think it is. So you might see a scrappy, dogged game. Like Dundee United, they're good at that. They're very good at it. They can do scrappy and dogged. They're very good at that. But they can also play a bit as well, Dundee United, although that surface isn't suitable for, a nice game. So there's going to be a lot of long balls. That's the way Dundee United play. Long balls and then scrap. That's the kind of game you're going to see. So it is concerning for me, this one, Sander. It's not going to be easy for Celtic.
It's definitely not going to be easy, John. It really is. It's every game's been the same this season, though, John. I felt the same way going into every game. I think you said a couple of weeks ago, the only convincing game we've really had was a 4-1 win against Dundee United at Celtic Park, where we sort of played them off the park. So we're looking for something similar on Sunday. And of course, John, next weekend is the international break. So after tomorrow, there's a long 2 week wait for another Celtic game, John. So I don't know what we're going to do with the podcast unless there's any news breaking stuff like that, John. It's going to be a very quiet couple of weeks for us. But we return, John, on the 5th of April to play Dundee at Dens Park, John. 4:30 kickoff on the Sunday. So that's our next game. The same day, Hearts play Livingston away from home. And on the Saturday, Rangers are at home to Dundee United. So it's another 2 weeks, John, before the league kicks off again. So it's even more important now, John, that we get the 3 points on Sunday.
The games just get tougher and tougher, didn't they? I mean, why are Celtic playing so many games away from home? I don't remember Celtic hardly ever playing at Celtic Park this season in the league. It feels like they've only played about 8 games there or something. Obviously, they've played more than that. I mean, but all these hard games away from home. When do you ever see Rangers away to Hearts and then away to Motherwell twice in a row? All that kind of stuff. You just don't see it. It just seems to be Celtic are getting these really, really tough games away from home right now. Or maybe it's just Celtic are quite poor and we're just no confident in them. Maybe we give teams like Dundee and Dundee United more credit than they deserve. It's just Celtic that went backwards. I don't know. But it seems to be the games are just getting tougher and tougher for Celtic.
Yeah, of course. And 2 away games in a row, John. And then after that, the week after that, don't want to go too far ahead, but just to let you know, we're at home to St Mirren and Hearts are at home to Motherwell that weekend, whereas Rangers are away to Falkirk, John. So it will balance itself out as the season goes on. What it might mean for us, John, as come the split, you get those 3 away games, or 3 home games and 2 away, blah, blah, blah. We might get the balance of that wee extra home game, John. That would be an extra bonus if that's the case.
You would think every game would be at home for Celtic in the split. We've hardly been at Celtic Park this season. I mean, that's why the pitch is in mint condition. You look at Celtic Park, it looks like it's just been freshly laid.
Yeah, of course it is. It seems that way, John. It does. Many times this season we've had 2, sometimes 3 away games in a row. And I think we have actually played 2 more away games, especially after the next 2 games. I think there'll be 2 or 3 more away games than the rest of the teams. But of course, as the fixtures coming up before the split, John, we may have 2 or 3 home games in amongst that, which would be absolutely fantastic. Starting with St Mirren at Celtic Park away later in April, John. But of course, big game before that, John. Dundee United. I need a wee sum up for you, buddy. What's your feelings, thoughts, and your overall feelings, John, going into this one on Sunday? What's your final thoughts, buddy?
Well, it just worries me, like I says, going on to that pitch up at Tannadice. That is a big concern for me. I'm not going to kid. Celtic players need to roll their sleeves up for this one, and be prepared for a battle, because Dundee United will be dogged. They'll fight for everything. They're fighting to get into the top 6, of course. So they'll be up for a battle. But the players really have got to roll their sleeves up for this one and be prepared to fight. It's going to be a long ball game. I mean, the pitch isn't that bad that you can't pass it 3, 4 feet, 5, 10 feet, maybe. I don't know however far you want to pass it, but it's a bad pitch, Sander. It's no suitable for playing on a professional game. This is 2026. You shouldn't be seeing football parks in that state. Like I said earlier, Dundee Park, 100 yards away from it, mint condition. I don't know. The thing that's holding me back from being confident for a win here is that pitch. So it's going to be a battle. We've seen Celtic battling against Rangers in defensive performances. I don't want to see that at Tannadice. I don't think you will see that at Tannadice. Celtic will have the lion's share of possession. But any chances created on that park, you've really got to take them, Xander. Every player needs to be on their best form to get a result here. It's been the same every game of the season so far, but that's what it is. Playing on a totty field, you've got to take your chances when you get them and defend heroically if you want to win this league.
Yeah, of course. Business end of the season, isn't it, John? The park, the park is what it is, John. I know both teams need to play on it, but Celtic are not used to playing on surfaces like that, John, as I said earlier on. So we just need to wait and see what happens, John. We'll wait and see what happens later on today as well. The games have obviously all kicked off, haven't they? Let's have a wee quick look to see if there's any updates on any scores. No. Let's have a wee look. English football.
No, we Motherwell and Hibs anyway.
There's nothing, John. There's nothing happened yet. So yeah, John, it's just need to wait and see what happens anyway. Because nothing each with Hearts as well, John. Nothing each with Kilmarnock, Livingston. Nothing each with Motherwell, Hibs. Nothing each all round. 7 minutes gone. All right, John. Let's park it there. We will be back on. I don't know when we're going to be back on because it depends on what's going to happen. But we will do a preview then, John, because after the post-match reaction, to Dundee United, there'll be international stuff for about 9 days, John. So we'll catch you on Monday, buddy.
I catch you Monday, Xander, by the way. Motherwell's Park, absolutely in mint condition.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's going to be the case with the better weather, John. But once the park is actually destroyed by the weather, then it can't be fixed, John. It has to be relayed. The surface needs to be relayed, doesn't it? So that's what we've got to look forward to on Sunday. Right, John, hail for now. Catch you on Monday, buddy.
Hail, Xander. Catch you soon.
Cheers, buddy.